guys, we are back and we are going to cover the second part of our surface area of right pyramids lesson. Hopefully, if you watched part one, you have solved this, got it on your own already, because I'm about to go over the step-by-step how we deal with this. I like to start with what's easy, and it also sets up my brain with thinking about the base. So when I look at big B here, I know that it is a square pyramid. So I know that the base to find the area would just be 10 times 10. So I know that my big B is going to be 100. When I look for my lateral area is actually going to be the 1/2 of the perimeter times the slant height. Remember, it's 1/2 because we have triangles now, and we're using the slant height because we need the height of the triangles, not the height of the pyramid. So to find that lateral area, I'm going to set up 1/2 of my perimeter. I have 4 sides that are all length 10 on the bottom there. And then my slant height is 11. So then this becomes 1/2 times 40 times 11, which half of 40 is pretty easy. I just get 20 times 11, and that would be 220 for the lateral area. So then, to find my final surface area, all I have to do is take the lateral area and add in one of the bases. So my surface area will be the 220 from the lateral area plus the 100 from the base. And my final total surface area is 320. We need a label, inches squared, because it's area. Please let me know if any of that doesn't make sense to you. The biggest thing there is make sure that you are using the correct formula for lateral area, and make sure that you are paying attention to only having one of the big B's. We do not double that value. Moving on to the back of our notes page, I'm going to have a triangular based pyramid, which changes slightly how we find the perimeter, as well as changing how we find the big B. So since I don't need a ton of room, I'm going to start by finding my big B right up here. Big B, because I see that the base of this is a triangle, my triangle area formula is going to be 1/2 the little b times the little h. And what a lot of people goof up there is your little b and your little h have to be perpendicular to each other. So we're looking for this square at the bottom right here that tells me that this side across the back and this side, or this line coming up here, those are perpendicular. So that's going to be my little b and my little h. Now, because we see that it's a regular triangular pyramid, regular in the triangle world means the same thing as equilateral. Regular means all my interior angles are the same and all my edges are the same. So when I see that this edge is 1.4, that also tells me that my back edge is 1.4. So I'm going to set up 1/2 of my 1.4 times my height, which is a 1.2. This becomes 0.7 times 1.2. I can think of 7 times 12 and go from there, moving the decimal point back 2 places, or I can grab a calculator and punch it in. And either way, we get 0.84, because if we had done 7 times 12, it would have been 84, but then we'd have to move that decimal back 2 places. So hang on to that as your big B. We are then going to move on and find our lateral area, which again, we know lateral area, because the faces are triangles, it's 1/2 the perimeter of that base shape times the slant height. I'll work vertical for now. This is going to be 1/2. Now we have to figure out, how do I find my perimeter? Well, again, my perimeter is the entire distance around the base. And since we were told that this base is regular, we know all the sides are the same. So we're going to have 3 sides, each measuring 1.4. And then the slant height we see right here is 3, because that is the height of the triangle faces, not the height of the pyramid. We'll need the height of the pyramid when we get to volume. So when I do 3 times 1.4, we can really do 3 times 14, which would be 42, and then move the decimal back. So this would be 4.2, and then times 3. I like to do the half as soon as I can, so I now am going to do the half times the 4.2 and get that this is going to be equal to 2.1 times the 3, because then that is also easy to do. That gives me 6.3 for the lateral area. And of course, we'll need a label when we finish. So then, to find my final surface area, because it's a pyramid, we just have the lateral area plus 1 base. So my lateral area was 6.3. My base was 0.84. And when I add 6.3 plus 0.84, I will get 7.14. And I got a label now, inches squared, for my final surface area. So we like to make sure that we have SA written out here so that we see that it is our surface area. Go ahead and try the got it on your own. Pause the video because I'm going to keep going and I'm going to show the solution. So we're working on the honor system here. Pause the video, try it on your own, and come back just for the solution and the answer so that you can verify if you really know what you're doing. So I'm going to use a little bit of the space above here just so I have more room to work. This being, again, a regular triangular pyramid helps me because I know every side of the base is going to be the same. I can also identify that this triangle must be the base because I've been shown this height of the triangle there. The only other possibility could be this triangle, but we see based off the characteristics of the shape that actually every face of this pyramid is identical. So I could turn this, this pyramid any direction we want, and it's actually still going to be the same pyramid because I have 6s all the way around, and then I have 5.2 for the height of the base and 5.2 for the slant height of the sides. So again, I'm going to start with my big B just because it's easy. So we know that big B is 1/2, little b times little h. My little b, the base of the triangle, is 6. And the height of the triangle, again, paying attention to what's perpendicular, is 5.2. I can do half of 6. I'm going to cross this out since I'm not worried about that right now. Half of 6 will give me 3 times the 5.2. And then I see from that multiplication, I get 15.6 when I break it up and do 3 times 5 and 3 times 0.2. And that will, of course, be your feet squared. That's my big B. Gonna need that later, so we put a circle around it. I now I'm gonna deal with my lateral area. Lateral area, again, needs the perimeter of the base, so all the way around this shape, as well as my slant height right here. So to find lateral area, it's half, because my faces are triangles, times the perimeter times the slant height. So half. Well, the perimeter has 3 sides that are all length 6, and the slant height is 5.2. So I can do my 3 times 6. I know that's 18, and I know that half of my 18 would be 9. So when I come over here, I'm actually going to rewrite this all as 9 times 5.2. Again, I did the 3 times 6, got 18, did half of the 18, and got my 9. So now when I compute that, 9 times 5.2, I can do 9 times 5, which is 45. I can do 9 times 2, which is 1.8, or 0.2, like 9 times 0.2 gives me the 1.8. So we really get 46.8. And then again, I'm not done yet till I compute the final surface area. So I'm gonna come back up and use my lateral area and 1 base. So that's going to be the 15.6 plus the 46.8. And that is going to give me that in final, my surface area is 62.4 feet squared. And however you want to notate that that's your final answer, you could put an SA equals and point up to it, or whatever you want to do, just so that I know it's your final answer. Please make sure that this all makes sense, and I kind of already gave away the next got it. Right here where we ask, what conclusions can we draw about a triangular pyramid if the height of the base is equal to the slant height? So that was this height right here, and this height right there, they were both the same. So as I said, we can rotate this pyramid, flip it onto any face that we want, and it's gonna look exactly the same regardless of which way it is facing. Again, when we start with hexagons or any kind of polygon, we need to break this up. So we're gonna start by drawing the lines to show how many triangles I actually have. We can also look at the name and see it's a hexagon, so I'm gonna have 6 triangles. So again, as we did in class, I'm gonna start by just finding the area of one of the triangles. Notice I didn't use big B or anything like that because I'm not dealing with that yet. So we're gonna use 1/2 times a little b times a little h. And my little b there is 3.5. And my little h is 3 because we see those are perpendicular right here. That's how I know that those are the values that I use. When I do half of 3.5 times 3, I'm just going to do all that together, and that gives me 5.25. But remember, that's only this space. So in order to turn that into big B, I'm going to use that big B must be 6 times that 5.25. And that big B then is 31.5. Gonna need that later. Then we deal with our lateral area. Lateral area again is gonna be half the perimeter of the base times our slant height. Notice I almost made a mistake there. So we're gonna do half. Well, to find our perimeter, we see that this edge is 3.5, and I'm gonna have 6 of them because we know it's a regular hexagonal pyramid. So 3.5 times 6, and then our slant height we've been told is 5. So I'm going to go ahead and compute 3.5 times 6. That gives me 21. I can do the multiplication in any order I want, or I can just do it straight through. So I'm going to do the whole thing straight through. Half of 21 is 10.5. Then times 5 gives me 52.5. So if that is my lateral area, and we know that our 31.5 down here is the area of the base, then our final surface area is just going to be the sum of those two. So we'll take the 52.5, add 31.5 with it, and we find out that our surface area in total is 84 feet squared. Go ahead and pause the video to try to work the got it. I am not going to work out the got it step by step. I'm actually going to show the solution from digits. So I'm going to pull that up real quick. So while I pull that up, please make sure that you try this on your own so you can check if you really know what you're doing. So here's our got it problem from our notes. As you can see right here down at the bottom, we've got 7 and 9 and 6.1. So that is this hexagonal pyramid right here. Hopefully you've done this on your own and got a solution of 189. But that's not your final solution, that's your lateral area. When you then find your big B, you have 6 triangles. So we break this up into the triangles and we look at each triangle being 1/2 base times height. I do my work a little slower. I find that area, then I multiply by 6. But whatever order you decide to do your work in, that's completely up to you. We found out that big B is 128.1. Then to find the final surface area, I want to add them both together. We find the sum is 317 and 1/10, which is approximately 317 square feet. Hopefully all of this makes sense to you and you have been doing well. The next thing we'll be headed on to is the volume of these pyramids, which actually has a really cool trick with how it relates to the volume of our prisms. So please let me know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. Aside from that, have a wonderful day.